Alright, let's talk about Polar H10. This might be just the worst product I have ever tried when it comes to monitoring heart rate in the water. Okay, this is Polar H10, a heart rate monitor designed to do two important things. First, measuring your heart rate accurately, and second, provide you with some information and data using the GPS and the technology built in. And honestly, on land, it's perfect. It's accurate, it's stable, and you can count on it all the time in different sports like playing basketballs or going to gym. It's really good. But when it comes to water, we need to talk about it. Polar markets H10 as their flagship for chest strap heart rate monitors. And honestly, it comes with really good technologies such as ANT plus connectivity as well as built-in memory, which makes it really useful for using it in daily basis and also for athletes that they're looking for really high accurate heart rate monitor. And I know lots of athletes these days, they are still using Polar H10 because it's reliable. I have covered all the pros of Polar H10 in previous video. But what I have never tried was using it in the water until recently. So in my recent trip to Thailand, I took it for a spin in two different scenarios. First, I tried it in swimming pool and the second one kayaking in the sea. And let me say this now, using Polar H10 in the water might be one of the most frustrating experience I have ever had with the fitness gadgets. First, let's talk about the pool test. So for pool swimming, Polar has three different options, two of them without GPS and one of them with GPS. So I chose pool swimming and then I swam for 15 minutes. And yes, it recorded just 1 minute 50 seconds of heart rate data. Distance, there is nothing. It's like I was swimming in one place. Pace or stroke data, non-existent. And by the way, my phone was right next to me because this Polar H10 came with these features built-in memory, which means that if you don't have your phone by yourself, the data will be transferred once you connect it to the phone again. But for the safety and making sure that data is really accurate and it's correct, I kept my phone next to me all the time. And even with that, that's the data I got. And here's the kicker. Every time that I push off the wall, whether with a flip turn or just a standard push, the strap twisted and flipped over, usually right where the sensor is in the middle. It is uncomfortable, it's inaccurate, and you don't like it when you're doing it. Maybe if you push it slowly through the wall, that works, but when you want to have really good push or turn, it's like really annoying and it's not accurate at all. And it makes you think why I chose Polar for measuring my heart rate while swimming. There is way better options like even Apple Watch, it's really good option to use it when you're swimming. But Polar in the water, it's not the right choice. Even though I tried to tighten the strap as much as possible, and when I compared it with other activities, it was way tighter, still it didn't work properly. Even I tried to move the strap up and down, maybe the placement would be different, and that can help to stabilize during the push, but it didn't work at all. So this strap is just not built in for swimming. Now let's talk about the kayaking disaster. For kayaking, I had really high hopes because it's not happening in the water. And so the Polar is going to be out of the water, so the measurement should be way more accurate. Here is what I got after 13 minutes of kayaking in the sea. Distance 0.01 kilometer. Yeah, you're right. It means that for 13 minutes, I was in just one place. Average heart rate 5 beats per minute. 5. Come on, Polar. Just 5. And the speed, let's not even talk about it. And the GPS at the end is a total mess. It's not usable. You cannot use the data. It's horrible. And I know that the strap and the device didn't detect my heart rate, and the distance and the GPS didn't work. The thing is, when you measure an activity with the polar heart rate or any heart rate, the system or the app should be really smart about it. Which means that when the device cannot detect your heart rate, you have to deduct that amount or that time from your total workouts. So it doesn't give you this average heart rate 5 beats per second. It's stupid. And on the other hand, it should have a system that can give you notification or alert that your device is not working or is not detecting any heart rate or the GPS is not detecting anything, so we can redo it. Just imagine that you go for kayaking or swimming and you have your heart rate and you're sure that the data is going to be there when you're finished, and after 1 hour of training you come back and there's nothing there. Don't get me wrong, I use the Polar H10 every single day on land. When I go to gym or when I play basketball, it's perfect. But when it comes to water or activities next to water, I'm not sure about it. And talking about the future requests on the app, there is one simple thing that is bothering me a lot, and I believe it bothers a lot of people too, which when you want to do 2 exercise sessions back to back, you cannot do it in the app and you have to finish and exit one exercise and then go to the next one. So most of the time when I go for weightlifting, I would like to do some cardio at the end. But with the Polar app, I have to end that session and start a new session, which is okay, but I really want to know how much calorie I have burned for the whole cardio and weightlifting. So if they can add a feature that you can add a session or another session on top of the previous one, that could be way easier for us to understand. And we can measure our heart rate and also calorie burns during the whole session. So we can both see it individually and combine. I'm sure with the technology these days, it's not going to be a big issue and they can update it in the app easily. So the final thoughts. Polar H10 is perfect when you're using on the land, when you're using it in the gym, or when you're playing any sports like basketball. It's accurate, it's reliable, and you can count on it all the time. But when it comes to the water, you cannot count on it unless they do some updates or they make some changes in the app that you can use it later on. But right now with these features, with this quality, there's lots of other options that you can use. So if you're planning to exclusively use your heart rate device in the water or sports that involve water, I believe there is way better options like Apple Watch, like Garmin, like any other devices that can help you to measure your heart rate and calorie burns with really high accuracy. But if you want to use your heart rate device on land, still I believe Polar H10 is one of the best in the world. One thing that I really love about Polar H10 is that whenever you want to do cardio, it will automatically connect to the cardio machine. You don't need to do anything. And then you just start with your cardio and you can see your heart rate. If you want to do zone 2, zone 3 exercises, you can see your heart rate on the monitor and it's super effective. But hopefully the Polar company see this video and address these issues, which is really frustrating. If you want to see the full review of the Polar H10, you can watch this video here where I explain completely how the Polar H10 works. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.